Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Megan and this is a minivan full. Now, I thought I'd bring you into my kitchen today, and this is a video that I actually have had planned for a little while now. I wanted to do a Frugal Fridays video. You can see that in my welcome to my channel video. It's the first video that I have posted here, but I know I mentioned it in there, and so this is something I've been wanting to do, is start a Frugal Fridays and start with a video about how I save in the kitchen. Just simple ways that I save in the kitchen. Most of them do not deal with food. I have decided to add one in just as a little suggestion because I haven't seen this around too very often on the YouTube channels. So it's probably not the most popular suggestion, but that's okay. Maybe it's a new one for you. And I think now is the perfect time to put this video together for you, just because we're in this very uncertain time where some people are very concerned about saving money or needing to save money at this time. Many people are concerned about food or needing to make sure that they're using the zero food waste plan for food. And so I just thought this is a great time to put this out, and maybe I'll have some suggestions that you don't know yet. Or maybe it's something that you've seen and it reminds you of it and you give it a try. So join me as I show you just a couple of simple things that I do in my kitchen to help save me some money. The first thing that I do to save money is in this drawer. I have washcloths, washcloths, washcloths. Many of these were given as gifts to my kids, you know, little birthday gift add-ins, kind of fillers. Some of them are Black Friday things, and actually I have a lot more, but of course they're in the wash at the moment. But these we use instead of napkins. So instead of taking tons and spending tons of money and using lots of napkins, we use a washcloth. We usually use about one per person, but I've noticed as the girls get older, they don't need napkins at every single meal all the time anymore. Like they just don't get as messy. So this is one way that we save money, is just by this. We wet them down and the kids will wipe their hands, their face, anything else that gets messy. You know how little kids are, their clothing, their spot in front of them, their chair, the whole deal. So these are perfect for my little kids. My bigger kids do sometimes use them too. Then over here I've got my Norwex, and I am not a consultant. That's the word I'm thinking of. I couldn't remember. I am not a Norwex consultant, but I know people who are, and so I have my Norwex, and I have to say I was not a big believer in Norwex until I tested it for myself. I got some of those bacteria strips, and I discovered that Norwex is actually very effective at cleaning, and it popped completely clean when I tested it. So I am now a Norwex believer. I have these, I actually got these as like a little promotional item. These are the counter cloths, and they're nice, but we don't use them very often. They're not our go-tos. We like the full-size kitchen cloth to wipe down our counters and our table. And then this is my most favorite, this netted dishcloth, I think is what it's called. This is my most favorite item for washing dishes. And you just throw it in the wash and it washes up real nice, and you just keep using it. So instead of buying sponges and sponges and sponges that eventually get gross and yucky, this, you just keep washing it and it keeps on working. And I have had this get a lot of really gross things clean, like stuck on food and all that. This works very, very well. And the next thing, so that's two. The third thing is actually in the drawer down one more here. And again, lots in the wash here. But we use towels, dish towels, tons and tons of dish towels. You can go buy these when they are on clearance. I do that, and I swap out some of my yuckier ones. But I also, people will notice that you do this. So people have noticed that I do this, and they buy me dishcloths all the time now. So I have a ton of dishcloths, which is amazing because these dish towels, you know which ones I'm talking about. They're the ones that open up like this big here. These are amazing for everything. Cleaning up a spill, grab this, not your paper towels. If you need to dry something on your counter, like I'm talking food, when I rinse all of my fruit and things, I rinse my fruit, I put some dish towels down, and I lay all my fruit on top of the dish towels, not paper towels. even spills and things like that. Anything that's yucky, and of course we can use them to dry. Sometimes I'll throw some out on the counters and we will dry dishes on them, like throw dishes on them to dry. I've used them to clean out the sink. Just everything is just grab a towel. So they grab a towel and they use it up. I do have some that are specifically for yuckier jobs. And so those are kept in a separate location. But these are our, you know, you can use it on a spill and things like that, and we just wash them up in hot water. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, but if I use towels and I use washcloths, what am I going to do with them when they're dirty? They'll pile up in the sink and make it smell gross. They'll be in a pile on my floor, and that's just disgusting, and my toddler will get into it. I know, I've been there. I've thought the same things, but this was my solution. This is a wet bag. You see how big that is? And it can hang. Sometimes if it gets too heavy, we'll put it on the floor, but it can hang, and right now it's hanging from my freezer door handle. The inside has a pull, that's P-U-L, capital letters, lining in it, and it's sewn in. And there is a zipper, but I tend not to zipper it so it doesn't kind of start to smell in there with musty stuff. And then I take it down usually every day, but sometimes every other day, and I just throw it in the wash with other towels and things that are down there. Okay, so those are my top 3 ways that I save money in my kitchen, is just cutting out all those paper products and using reusable towels, washcloths, anything like that. Norwex cloths. I am a huge fan of the Norwex cloths now. They really are quite fantastic and they really last. So I know some people balk at the price a little bit, and yes, they can be a little bit pricey, and here I am talking about being frugal, but in my experience, they have lasted me personally for years now. So even though it was a little bit of upfront cost, they've lasted me years. That has way more than paid for itself when I consider how many sponges and paper towels and napkins and things like that I would be buying. So I do use those things in place of paper products in my kitchen, and it's at the point right now where we don't even notice it. My family doesn't even look for paper towels or napkins. It works very well for us, and we have become so accustomed to it, and I just wash on hot water with some detergent. My washing machine does have a sanitized cycle, so every once in a while I might send it through on a sanitized cycle. Norwex will tell you how to wash theirs. I wash mine. I know I'm so bad. I'm gonna have somebody on Norwex yelling at me about this, but I will wash mine with just regular Tide detergent and hot water in my washing machine. But I do know that you also can boil them with some of the Norwex detergent, which I do have some of that, and I do boil them from time to time when they seem to really need it. And so that is an option. Now, the 4th way that I save money, this is the way that I said, I don't hear a lot of people saying this. I hear a lot of people saying, reuse your leftovers, put them in another meal. I always try to plan another meal with my leftovers, and that is wonderful for those people. It did not personally work for my family. We don't like to eat the leftovers, and we don't like when they're repurposed. I have learned this about my family. So out in my deep freezer, I have a specific 2 shelves in my deep freezer that are for foods that were once a meal and are leftovers, but it's not enough for another meal. That means it is lunch, breakfast, snack food for 1 or a couple of people. And what I do is I put it in freezer Ziploc bags, label with what it is, and stick it on a shelf. And I would love to show you this, but actually we just went through an entire freezer and pantry challenge for the entire month of February and partway into March. And so I don't have anything left out there. In fact, when this whole virus scare hit, I was one of the people that had to start to stock up, and no, I have not stockpiled months. I have 3 weeks of food at my house, and that is all that I have. I have those 2 shelves in my freezer that are for lunch, etc. items where it's not enough for a whole meal, but If it's the 2 little girls and myself and we're the only ones at home, we might go out and pick out something from the freezer that was a meal 2 months ago. And we'll defrost it and heat it up, and now we have it. So that's what I personally do with my leftovers. I don't throw them away, but I also don't repurpose them because my family doesn't like that. I was trying to keep it to non-food in this video, but I felt that at this point in our lives, I guess, so I felt that at this point in our lives, it was just important that I address the food issue as well. So that is how we do it. So maybe that will help somebody out. Maybe you'll stick your dinner leftovers in the freezer right away, and it can become a meal for another time for you or someone in your family. Another way that I save money in my kitchen is with this spray bottle. Now mine is from Grove, but you don't need one from Grove. Of course, just any spray bottle will work. I do prefer the glass spray bottle or a very, very hard plastic. It's just sturdier when you're doing this. But this is my dish soap, and you can see I'm starting to get a little bit low, but you can see in there how blue that is. Let's see if I can change it and show you. See how blue that is? Okay, so that is my dish soap. And I do 1 to 2 squirts on something when I am washing dishes. And what it is Dawn dish soap. So I fill with water all the way up to about here with my... Teddy's making some noise right now. I fill all the way up to about here with water, and then I top off the rest with dish soap. I can say this word. Now, if it's getting super sudsy and there's a lot of suds up in there, sometimes you can just let your bottle set for a minute and the suds will just dissipate, and then you can add your soap. If that's not happening, or if you're not that patient, like sometimes I am not, you can fill it up with water just a little bit lower because you'll have all those bubbles up on top, and then fill with dish soap until the bubbles are kind of close to the top, and put your top on. Then just when they dissipate, you won't have quite so full of a bottle. That's all. But this lasts a very, very long time. And that has been just wonderful. And if you're wondering what this is, it's actually my cleaner, and I will talk about that in another video. So this is my dish soap, and that is how I save money in my kitchen. Thanks for watching today. I hope that you enjoyed this video about how to save money in your kitchen. If you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up so that I know that you enjoyed Frugal Friday, and I will make more Frugal Friday videos for you. And please remember to hit subscribe so that you can watch the videos as they're posting. And I am so glad that you are here. Thank you for joining me today. I'll see you next time. Bye.